the new beginning.
Hard times create strong people. Strong people create good times. Good times create weak people, and weak people create hard times. This is not just a cycle. This cycle is not just a fancy sentence. It's the history. It's the up and down of the nations throughout the history. My country, Nepal, is right now in this hard time. There's so much happening, and I want to use this speech today to talk about the new beginning Nepal is going towards. Fellow Toastmasters, distinguished Toastmaster and guests. So Nepal has been ruled by same political parties for the last 35 years. Every 4 years, new party comes, then the same thing happens. They give us corruption with no accountability, impunity everywhere. They want to control our freedom, the freedom to speak like I'm speaking here, the freedom to speak online, and they give us dreams, dreams after dreams, and then no progress in the horizon. What I have observed in Nepal is every 20 years, there is a big revolution. 20 years ago, I was in college. I was in undergrad. I was myself participating in a protest. That protest lasted for 30 days. And during that protest, the king from Nepal was ousted and we became a Republic of Nepal. And one very incident that I remember during that protest was we were protesting near a police station, and one police officer comes directly to me and says like, if I catch you one day, I'll throw you in a cold cell and you'll stay there for months. I was scared, my heart was beating faster, but we still had to work towards our country, towards the hope. That was 20 years ago. And then 20 years later, 4 days ago, the Gen Z in Nepal, G generation, they organized a massive protest against corruption, against the freedom to speak. And right now it's portrayed like people are just protesting so that they could not post something online, but it's far beyond that. It's for the corruption that's been happening and all the reasons that I just talked about. So in 2 days, just 2 days, they were able to make the government put the knees down. Listen very carefully. The first 2 days are very important. First day, they organized the protest so big that all the kids throughout the Nepal, villages, cities, capital, they came out in the streets. They started doing the protest, very peaceful protest. And all of a sudden, within hours, the streets in Kathmandu became flooded with the youngsters. I saw the news that a police officer behaved like a savage and hit the bullet right in the face, in the head of the kids that go to school. They haven't even passed high school. I was so shocked and devastated. 20 years ago, we went to the same protest. Nobody was killed. The king just left the reign alone and we became republic. This first day, the home minister resigned. And then the second day came. Second day, throughout the first half of the second day, the prime minister resigned. All the cabinet ministers resigned. And then things started to get ugly. Looks like some infiltrators got into the protests. Then people started going to politicians' houses, former ministers, they started beating them. People were bleeding, and I was happy to see some of this because those are the people who were making us suffer for years, right? But things escalated. Then they started going to buildings that have stood for hundreds of years in Nepal. They were the symbol of Nepal, like Singha Darbar, that has been for more than 120 years. And at some point, that was the biggest building, in third or second biggest in Asia, that time when they built. So the buildings, Supreme Court, George, is burned down to ashes. All the important buildings where we have data against corruption, they were targeted. So the people, when the new government comes, I believe they were scared, somehow they infiltrated, and every single places where we have this important data got burned down to pieces. We staying here are just hopeful. Right now, Nepal is in a state of chaos. The army has taken over the country. There is no government right now. They're trying to find an interim leader who would unite the people, give them hope that tomorrow we can still rise. I want to give an analogy of a wildfire. When wildfire comes, there is a big flame. It burns everything. But after a while, you can see a green shoot sprouting under the black soil. I have the same hope for Nepal. And all of us have flames in our life, right? The flames could be a job lost, a relationship broken, a dream cut short, and you name it. There is no shortcomings of flames. But flames will help us grow. There is a growth after flame, and there is a new beginning after ashes. So my dear friends, hard times create strong people. Strong people create good times. Good times create weak people, and weak people create hard times. And hard times doesn't have to define us. Hard times will shape us. Hard times will teach us. And it will let us, you, me, and Nepal, grow, rise to a new beginning. Back to you, Toastmasters.
Thank you, Janesh.